go on and dig right into the schedule prediction, and we will start with Matt's favorite team, the Giants. His favorite quarterback. I know the quarterback he wanted the entire time in the draft is on the Giants. Anyways.
All right. So the Giants. I always preface this with the last season results. 3-14 last year, fourth in the division.
Woo!
They missed the playoffs. Offensive EPA per play, they were 28th in the league. Their pass block and run block rate, both 26th and 27th, respectively, or unrespectively, depending on how you feel about them. And then their defensive EPA per play was 29th at .071. Their pass rush win rate and run stop win rate, according to like ESPN Analytics, was really good. 13th in pass rush and run stop was 10th. So the analytics kind of loved on them a little bit. They bring in Russ. Yeah.
Quickly, but you were it could not have come out at a perfect, like more perfect timing. Right now, as you speak, there's a report coming out that there are many people within the Giants organization that prefer Jameis Winston to be the starting quarterback over Russell Wilson. Anyways, I just thought it was literally 30 seconds ago that report just came out. I thought it was perfect. Anyways.
I'd probably start Russ. I'll just say that.
You should. Yeah.
But again, we'll get into their quarterback room a little bit later. But I have Russ's statistics here. .019 EPA per play, was 21st in the league, just right at that average mark. But he was 26th in success rate, 43%. That's Russ for you. Like he's not going to work on schedule, he's not going to work on time, but man, can he deliver some explosives here and there. Their offseason was eventful, much more eventful than I remembered. They brought back Darius Slayton for 3 years, $36 million. They brought back Greg Van Roten at right guard, who is like 35, and he's going to start at right guard again, according to our lads. Those were the two main keeps of main snap counts guys. And then their additions, of course, obviously Russell Wilson at the top of the list. 1 year, $10.5 million. Jameis Winston, 2 years, $8 million. The two big spendings was Paulson Adebo, corner, 3 years, $54 million, and Javon Holland, safety, 3 years, $45 million. And then lobbing in James Hudson, a swing tackle, 2 years, $12 million. Chauncey Golston from Dallas, 3 years, $18 million. And then Roy Robertson Harris, interior defensive lineman, 2 years, $9 million. All those guys on our lads projected as starters. And then their draft. Of course, their draft was eventful. They drafted Abdul Carter with the 3rd overall pick. They tried to move up to 1 to get Cam Ward. The Titans said no, and they should. And then later in that first round, the Giants traded up to 25 with the Houston Texans, sending 34, 99, and a 2026 third-round pick to select Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss. Darius Alexander they took in the 3rd round, the first pick in the 3rd round, I believe. And then I'll throw in Cam Scatabo in the 4th round. And then Marcus Mbo, a guy I preached really highly on this podcast. He was my 51st overall player, and he fell to round 5. So, and I'm pretty sure he's listed as a tackle on our lad. So that's interesting because I only projected him as an interior guy. Their departures weren't really significant. Jason Pinnock, their safety, goes to the Niners, 976 snaps out the door. Those will be directly replaced by Javon Holland. Adoree Jackson out the door, 426 snaps. Again, same thing with Paulson Adebo, going to replace those snaps. Azeez Ojulari, 391 snaps, going to be replaced by Chauncey Golston. And then lastly, I had to mention him, Drew Lock, quarterback. I didn't put a snap count. I just put he beat the Colts. I just had to mention that.
Yeah.
It ruined their season, really. I think would you, if you're the Giants right now, this is a fun little hypothetical. If you're the Giants and you have Abdul Carter, would you give it all away to lose that Colts game to get Cam Ward?
Probably.
Yeah, I agree. And there's second part to this question. I was going over, let's see if I can find it. So Oh man, I lost it. But no, there was a trade. You remember the Hard Knocks last year with the Giants, their offseason Hard Knocks? There was a trade that Joe Shane called Elliott Wolf, the Patriots, about trying to get up to 3 to take Drake May. And he offered 6. He offered a 2025 first, and he offered like late round picks in that draft. Elliott Wolf declined. He said, like, listen, you got to give me your first, second, third this year. You got to give me your first and second next year. It was never going to happen, but I like thought about that. Like, again, another hypothetical. Would you, if you're the Giants, would you rather have Drake May or have Neighbors and Abdul Carter? And like, frankly, I'll throw in Darius Alexander here. Like, and even like this year's second. Like, they wouldn't have to trade up for Jackson Dart. So it's interesting. How far are you willing to go to get your quarterback? It's just the thought process.
It might be crazy. I think of taking Neighbors, Abdul Carter, Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
Over Drake May.
I don't fault you because I'm like, I called Abdul Carter generational on this podcast, and I still believe
I really think he's, yeah.
And I think Malik Neighbors he's a star in the making. Like his flexibility in the air, his ball skills, ridiculous. But that leads me into my season outlook question. WTF is your offensive expectation? The 2024 Giants were, again, I mentioned 28th in EPA per play. Their only starter change they made going into this season was the quarterback position, bringing in Russell Wilson, trading up for Jackson Dart, and signing Jameis Winston. 3 guys who probably aren't starters, right? Like, if they're your starters, outside of like Dart, because you took him in the first round, I view him as a 4th-round prospect. So that's my opinion. I don't view any of these guys as long-term starters or solutions. You get into like their defense is going to like it's going to have to overplay its stay. Like the amount of assets put into this defense, like I have to go through it. I have to find it. It's just looking at their depth chart, man. The amount of guys that
yeah.
Oh man.
I mean, you have Brian Burns, Thibodeau, Abdul Carter, Paulson Debo, Newman, Javon Holland. You know, can Deontay Banks have a bounce back
just think
year
about those guys
compared to what he was last year?
Outside of their because they're going to run a 4-2-5 front, I imagine Carter and Burns are your edge rushers. They traded a second for Burns and gave him a massive contract. They're going to give Lawrence another massive contract because they have to. He's one of the best defensive tackles in the league. Bobby Okereke was one of their he was an off-ball linebacker signing a few years ago. Tyler Newman is a 2nd-round pick. Deontay Banks is a 1st-round pick. Andrew Phillips is a 3rd-round pick. And Paulson Adebo and Javon Holland, I just mentioned, were 2 of the highest paid at their position this offseason. So I was looking at this, doing all the research, oh man, I kind of like their defense. Yeah, no crap. They have spent every major asset outside of the Malik Neighbors pick on defense. And even throwing in the Jackson Dart pick, trading up for him. Those are the 2 guys that they've used, the 2 assets of capital they've really used on the offense. So you look like you had to say something.
Yeah, how much of that do you think is because they say we have faith in Brian Daboll to figure out whatever we're going to throw out on offense? And we said, we have faith. We hired you to take care of this because we think you are one of the best offensive minds in the league. Go take care of it. We're going to spend and I'm not saying that's a smart way to do it, but my guess would be is that is why. Dumb as it is, because that offensive line still scares the living bejeebus out of me. But
and it's year 4 of this. It's year 4. Yeah. So I think there's a constitution of a little bit bad luck here. Drew Lock wins the game, has literally a perfect football game. I remember when the stats came out that he was in comparison to 2018 Mahomes with the performance he had against the Colts to win that game. And so they miss out on Cam Ward because of that. They miss out on Drake May because I think I feel like they had a game a few years ago too to miss out on that. They have the weird Daniel Jones year where he wins a playoff game, so they have to sign him, tag Saquon to kind of get rid of Saquon.
That was always dumb, though. We all knew that was a dumb decision at the time, though.
And that's the thing is, like, that's how the quarterback is. Like, well, he won the playoff game. We got to stick with it, kind of mentality. But back to the defense really quick, and then we can get into the schedule predictions. Their plan, right, as I mentioned, is, well, we're going to survive on good defense and kind of sacrifice the offense. That's basically what I see from this team, is like maybe we get Dart thrown in there a little bit later, and he can figure it out. He runs he plays a few games like Penix did last year. That's kind of how I view him. Like, can he play 4 games and have some optimism and save Brian Dable's job? But the last time the Giants were a top 20 team on defense in terms of EPA per play, 2020. They were 16th.
No kidding.
Joe Judge was a head coach. Daniel Jones was in his second year. Saquon tore his ACL in Soldier Field. They won 6 games after starting 1-7, and that was the year the Eagles' Sunday Night Football fiasco happened, where they benched Jalen Hurts. And I was interested. Yeah. And then I was interested. Well, if that was 16th, when's the last time they were top 15? 2016. Eli Manning was a starting quarterback. They won 11 games. They were top 5 in EPA per play on defense that year. And then the boat picture happened. So it's like I was going down this rabbit hole of the Giants. Like, they have not been good at anything the last decade. So I'm really interested. The sacrificial lamb of the offense I don't love. And I had to steal a quote from Dodgeball, one of my favorite movies. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him. All I can do is throw my hands up and go, this is what you built. All right, figure it out. But without further ado, I think we gotta get into the schedule prediction.
Yes. Yeah, we'll dig into it. We can go, week 1 through 5, and then 6 through 9.
I always like when we do it in, sets of 4.
We do sets of 4. Yeah.
We'll do the sets of 4. Yeah. We'll do 5, 4, 4, 4 because of the bye week. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, first off, I'll read Ryan's record for the Giants, and I'll be like, "This is Ryan's, and this is mine." So we're gonna start off with Ryan's record with the Giants through the first 5 weeks. He has them. You know what? I'll make it nice and easy. This is both me and Ryan's record through the first 5 weeks. We both have them losing to the Commanders, Cowboys, Chiefs, and Chargers. I am very, very sorry, Matt, but we both have them beating the Saints as well. For me, it was just a matter of defense. It really was just a matter of defense. It's both bad offenses, and I prefer the Giants' defense over. So, but we both have them starting off 1-4.
I have them losing the first 4 as well. And then Tyler Shuck breaks their heart. They're going to lose 5 in a row. They're going to lose to the Saints on the road. But this is this is a crossroads moment. If they start 0-5 and they have a home Thursday night game against Philadelphia, Brian Dable, you might not make it out of the stadium. You might not make it out. Sirianni will go for the throat, man. I give him that. He's an MFer with that stuff. And I think he would go for the throat. I think Saquon would try and run for 200 yards. And if that were to happen, I could see Brian Dable losing that game and being fired on that Friday. I honestly, because I think these two guys, Shane and Dable, are walking on the thinnest piece of ice I have ever seen. And if they're 0-6, which with this schedule, man, that's another thing with the schedule. They have to face the NFC North. They have to face the AFC West, and the NFC East has 3 playoff teams to me. Maybe they don't all make the playoffs, but you get what I'm saying.
Playoff
this is a brutal, brutal schedule, man, and I have them starting 0-6. And I'll finish it off for that strip. I have them beating Denver. If Dable is fired, I give them the interim coach bump. They will lose to Philly again. And then they'll lose to San Francisco. They'll be 1-8 going into Week 10.
Oh gosh, that is rough. Well, I'll be honest. Me and Ryan again, we're right there with you. We're gonna have them going 1-8 as well through that point in the season. Me and Ryan both have them losing to the Eagles, Broncos, Eagles again, and Niners throughout that stretch. Rough. Like to open up that season with even those first 9 games, as you said, none of them really seem winnable outside of that Saints game. And that Saints game, it's really just going to be a suck off. I'm sorry, but like it's just a matter of like which team wants to lose less. Like that's how I imagine that game being. So it's just it's going to be rough. But yeah, we have them 1-8 at that point as well. So
all right, I'll get through the next 4. I wish Ryan was here. I have them losing to the Bears and then beating the Packers, and then losing both Detroit and New England going into the bye 2-11.
There you go. So Ryan has them losing out all 4 of these against the Bears, Packers, Lions, and Patriots. I have them losing all of them but the Patriots game. I'm going to have them beat the Patriots. Why? I don't know. It just seems like a game that they would win because they said, screw you, we wanted Drake May. So, yeah, still really rough. I have 2 wins for him so far. Ryan only has 1.
I have them beating the Commanders out of the bye and then losing out the rest of the schedule. 3-14. Maybe they get the first overall pick this year. Hopefully the tiebreakers fall their way. In my world, they would lose to the Saints, so I think that would give them the tiebreaker over the Saints for that pick. But if the Saints lose that many games, who knows? But yeah, you finish it off. I think I know where you guys are going to.
Yeah. Again, me and Ryan, we're right there with one another here. We have them losing to the Commanders, Vikings, and Raiders, but we both actually have them beating the Cowboys as well. So my records are going to look the exact same as yours. I have them going 3-14. Ryan is 1 game behind us, which I would have to imagine a 2-15 record is going to get you there with the first overall pick, but the Browns and Saints do exist. So it's not a guarantee, but again, man, it is just going to be rough. As you said, like you cannot expect much from the offense coming out of this team. A lot of their choices are I'm not a big fan of, right? Like that offensive line has been bad for a very long time, given there's been health issues, but to just run it back and say, well, let's hope everyone's healthy. And if everyone's healthy, we hope they're going to be good. And then, like, I hate to say it, I love, Cam Scadaboo and value. If he's the number 1 player on your board, go for it. But it made no sense for me, even that pick, because you just drafted Tracy, who just had an amazing rookie season. And then you turn around and invested a valuable draft pick into another running back, given different styles. Just weird choices all around from that front office. If you're a Giants fan, I'm sorry, but we can move on to the next team here.
I wanna wait.
Oh, wait.
I wanna lob in their over under. Their over under is 5.5, and it's -130 on the under. I think that's criminal.
Slam the under. Slam the under.
Yeah, I know you have to lay juice on this team, but seriously, I think
-130 is not too bad.
You absolutely have to just slam it. But I have a bold take. Even if I have them winning 3 games, I'm going to stand up for my guy, Malik Neighbors. I think Malik Neighbors leads the league in receptions and is top 3 in yards. If that
I can get behind that. Yeah. Because they have no Darius Slayton and was at one point one of your guys, Wan'Dale Robinson. Really? Like, is that who he's going to be competing targets?
Wan'Dale Robinson caught the ball he caught the ball 100 times last year and had 700 yards. I don't think that guy's standing in the way.
No, and then the only other one you have to worry about is Jalen Hyatt, and everyone, come on, he hasn't been productive either since being drafted. Shocker, shocker. But I agree with that. I really think Malik Neighbors is going to have a great year, and I picked him in fantasy, and I hope to get him again this year. But that's besides the point. We can move on to the next team here.